Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style blog.
And I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe.
Now, Jill and I have been talking a lot about conscious shopping, and one of the things we're actually discussing was that the relationship between self-esteem and quality and what we spend too.
Yes, it's really interesting to reflect on your own habits, and certainly I'm in a wonderful position, as are you, to be privileged enough to hear the stories of women who have bought high-end or low-end, and we often hear the most interesting stories, particularly when they relate to self-esteem and the value that you place on yourself when they are at those extreme ends. So, you know, women who are attracted to buying lots of really cheap items, and often they're not just cheap because they're discounted and a quality, but they are cheap, poor quality items. Or women who are at the other end of the spectrum who are attracted to buying designer, very expensive items. And then their relationship to wearing those things. You know, I have worked with women who have bought expensive things, but they refuse to wear them. Somehow the presence of them in their wardrobe sparks this woman into thinking she doesn't deserve them, or they're only for best, only for good. And those occasions, of course, hardly ever occur.
Yes, we're so brought up. I know I was brought up with your Sunday best.
Yes.
And you wear your crappy clothes the rest of the time.
Yes.
But then these days, it's like fashion changes so fast, that Sunday best is out of fashion pretty quickly. And if you don't get your wear out of it right now,
yes,
then it's gone. But there's all those women too who buy the cheap. They keep buying the $10 item. Oh, $10 t-shirt, $10. It was only $10. It was only $5. It was $20. And suddenly they've got this enormous credit card debt that
yes,
they cannot afford.
that they acquired $10 at a time.
Yes, but they look at their wardrobe and it doesn't make them feel good because it's full of cheap clothing. And I think, especially as women get older, one of the things I found is, like, I will say to myself, I'm not buying cheap for the sake of cheap. I'm
yes,
not 20 anymore with a very small budget.
Yes.
I want things that are going to last, so we usually want to spend probably a little bit more money so that it's better quality, that the fabric is a good quality, it's fit, it's well constructed,
yes,
all those sorts of things. But then I'm also going to make it, just because it's, say, Prada, doesn't mean it's actually good quality for me.
yes.
So it's making those very conscious decisions about what is good. And does owning Prada make me a better person? No.
Yes. And for me, what's interesting about that is disconnecting all those external messages that we are told this is what this means. Because so often advertising, it's not about the product, it's about the feeling state they're trying to encourage you to connect with, that buying this product will give you. And of course that so rarely happens. We end up disappointed with those purchases. It's about taking your attention away from those things back to yourself, to an internally derived sense of self. What's going to make me feel good? And I think wearing poor quality items day after day doesn't do an awful lot for your self-esteem. You know, if the items are poorly fitting, poorly constructed, the fabric is cheap and nasty, the message you're sending to yourself is, I'm not worth it. And we don't want to swing to the other end of the spectrum where we have that entitlement sense of, you are worth it, we're worth it.
Yes.
We want a healthy sense of self-esteem that's healthily expressed, that we're worth quality. But those things you talked about too, that we buy things to last, we buy things that are a true reflection and expression of who we are, that it's about what we want to express and how we want to inform our sense of ourselves, rather than I'm buying this to fit a certain image.
I'm not buying it because it'll impress my friends. I remember reading an interview where they'd actually done some brain scans on people about why they bought, say, certain particularly luxury goods. And now, if you'd asked them in a marketing sense, why did you buy that Louis Vuitton handbag? Now, they would have said, well, it's good quality, it will last me a lifetime, and they'll make up these sort of reasons. When they did the brain scans, what they actually discovered was the people bought it because it was almost like a finger up at all the people who'd never said they'd be successful.
Yeah.
So this was a whole different emotional reason that they were purchasing these very expensive high-end goods, and they might not be able to afford them.
Yes. And marketers spend an awful lot of money and time understanding how the unconscious triggers in humans work, and that's what marketing is geared towards, not the conscious and rational mind where you can sort out what the messages are truly saying, but they bypass that and they go straight to the unconscious and those emotional triggers, and that's why we end up coming home with things we didn't even know we wanted before we went shopping.
One of the things I found in my journey of what I've had with, you know, my style journey, I would say, is I remember sitting down one day because I used to have a "I cannot buy it if it's not on sale" message that was firmly implanted in my brain. And I still love a bargain shop. But I think that's the hunter-gatherer in me. But what I discovered when I sat down and I actually started asking some questions of myself is, where did this feeling come from that it had to be on sale?
Yes.
And I actually came up with a trick where I realised that as I was growing up, my mother had always said to me, "I'm not buying you new shoes because your feet are growing too fast." i.e., what I'm hearing is, you are not worth spending any money on.
Yes.
I'm not buying you any clothes because you are growing too fast. You are not worth it. And that's what I kept hearing, which meant I became a bargain shopper because I didn't think I had enough value to actually spend full price on.
Yes.
And now I'll only ever buy something as a bargain if I look at it and go, would I actually spend it, the money, if it was full price?
And that's a really good point. And one of the exercises we encourage our women to do in our program is your early shopping autobiography. What are your earliest experiences of shopping? What are the messages that you picked up at that early age that you perhaps are carrying around with you to this day that you're not even aware? They're informing the way that you purchase. They're informing the way you feel about yourself and the expression of yourself through the medium of clothing.
Yes. So I found that incredibly revelatory. Can I say that word?
Yes.
And I think it's something that is a great exercise to go through, is to go, where did I get my attitudes from? Particularly either if you only buy cheap or only buy really expensive.
Yes.
Because they're really just two sides of the same coin in many ways.
Yes.
To actually go, why is it I'm doing this? And is it actually valuable in my life right now? Because you might think, well, that's actually crazy, so I need to change my attitudes.
Yes. And on a practical level, one of the things that I think is fun to do is mix in those best or good items with your everyday. You know, wear those expensive earrings, or put on those lovely leather boots instead of Ugg boots, or, you know, put on the scarf that, you know, you bought in Paris, and mix those things in with your everyday items, because every day is best. Today is best.
Today might be the last day, so if you never wear them, if you don't wear them today, you might never get to wear them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I dress every day in clothes that I love because there might be no tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, which is, you know, slightly morbid, but also a really great touchstone to say, if I want to feel great about myself today, you know, what are the things that I've got that will, you know, help me to do that?
And I don't care if I'm not even going out, or that the only person who might see me is the lady in the checkout of the supermarket.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter. I don't have to dress just for an occasion. I'm dressing every day in a way that makes me feel great. And also is using, I've spent the money.
Yeah.
I may as well get the value from the clothes.
Yeah, absolutely. And every day you're in your own company. So, you know, why not dress in a way that makes you feel great today?
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Imogen.